Before we begin, subscribe to this channel for more teachings that elevate your mindset, sharpen your perception, and strengthen your psychological discipline. What you're about to learn is not common advice, it is strategic awareness. Most people lose power the moment they start defending themselves. This sounds counterintuitive. You've been taught that when accused, misunderstood, or criticized, you must explain, justify, clarify. You've been told that silence equals weakness. Machiavelli understood something different. He observed that when a ruler rushes to defend himself, he signals insecurity. Defense places you in a lower frame. It assumes guilt must be disproven. It accepts the battlefield chosen by your opponent. The moment you defend, you react. And whoever reacts is no longer in control. Psychologically, defense shifts authority. Instead of standing as the evaluator, you become the evaluated. Instead of holding position, you surrender ground. Even if you win the argument, you lose the frame. Think about this carefully. When someone accuses you falsely, and you immediately justify yourself, what are you communicating? You are communicating that their opinion determines your stability. Machiavelli warned rulers never to legitimize every criticism. Not because criticism is irrelevant, but because constant defense weakens perceived strength. Power does not scramble to explain itself. Modern psychology supports this. The more you explain, the more doubt you create. Over-explaining activates suspicion. Calm detachment, on the other hand, signals confidence. This does not mean you remain silent in every situation. It means you choose when to respond, and how. The trick is simple, but difficult. Instead of defending yourself, elevate the frame. Instead of explaining, observe. Instead of reacting, question. The individual who refuses to panic under accusation becomes psychologically dominant. The attacker expects emotional movement. When none comes, tension reverses direction. And here is the uncomfortable truth. Many accusations are designed not to uncover the truth, but to destabilize you. If you understand this, you will stop defending automatically. Because sometimes, the most powerful move is to let the noise collapse on its own. Why defense signals weakness, even when you're right. Most people defend themselves because they believe truth automatically wins. Machiavelli knew better. Truth does not win by emotion, it wins by positioning. When you defend yourself immediately, even if you are innocent, you unconsciously accept the role of the accused. The dynamic shifts. The other person becomes the judge. You become the one seeking validation. That shift is subtle but powerful. Psychologically, humans interpret calmness as strength and urgency as vulnerability. The more you rush to correct someone, the more it appears that their words carry weight over you. And perception, not intention, determines power. Machiavelli observed that rulers who constantly justified their decisions appeared unstable. Those who spoke rarely, and only when necessary, projected certainty. Silence creates ambiguity. Ambiguity creates authority. Defense removes ambiguity. When you over-explain, you give your opponent material. More words mean more angles to attack. More explanation means more opportunities for misinterpretation. In trying to clear your name, you often deepen the debate. Modern psychology calls this the justification trap. The more someone feels the need to prove themselves, the more observers subconsciously question why such proof is needed. Confidence rarely argues. In social situations, professional environments, and even relationships, defense often lowers your perceived status. The higher status individual does not scramble. They listen. They evaluate. They respond selectively. And here is the deeper layer. Some accusations are not about facts. They are about reaction. When someone challenges you publicly, they are testing your emotional control. If you react strongly, you reveal sensitivity. Sensitivity reveals leverage. Machiavelli would advise this instead. Remain still. Stillness unsettles aggression. When you do not defend, the burden shifts. Now the accuser must prove, explain, justify. The pressure returns to where it belongs. This is not about arrogance. It is about emotional discipline. There is a difference between correcting misinformation strategically and defending yourself emotionally. One maintains power. The other leaks it. The next time you feel the urge to immediately explain yourself, pause. Ask yourself, am I protecting truth or am I protecting ego? Because the one who controls the frame controls the outcome. Machiavelli did not teach passivity. He taught control. There is a difference. Not defending yourself does not mean remaining silent forever. It means refusing to react inside someone else's frame. The real skill is flipping the frame. When accused, most people rush to clear their name. The powerful do something different. They redirect attention. Instead of answering emotionally, they ask calmly, "Why do you think that? What makes you say that? Interesting perspective, what led you there?" Notice what just happened. The pressure shifted. Now the accuser must explain themselves. Now they must justify their position. Now they feel examined. This is the Machiavellian flip. Psychologically, humans expect resistance when they attack. They expect you to defend, argue, or get emotional. When you respond with composed curiosity instead, you disrupt their rhythm. Disruption creates imbalance. Imbalance weakens aggression. This tactic works in social circles, workplaces, leadership roles, and even intimate relationships. When someone attempts to destabilize you through accusation, your calm questioning exposes whether their claim has substance or insecurity behind it. Many attacks are projections, and when you refuse to absorb them, the projection returns to the sender. Machiavelli understood that perception shapes power. If you appear shaken, you appear weaker. If you appear thoughtful and undisturbed, you appear in control. Even silence can be a flip. Sometimes the most powerful response is a brief pause, a steady look, and no immediate explanation. Silence forces the other person to sit with their own words. Often, they begin softening their tone on their own. Why? Because humans are uncomfortable attacking someone who does not emotionally engage. This is psychological jujitsu. You use the other person's force without meeting it head-on. But this requires discipline. Your ego will want to speak. Your pride will want to be corrected. Your fear will want to be understood. Control all three. The person who masters emotional restraint gains invisible authority. And authority, once established, rarely needs defense. Remember this: you are not obligated to clarify yourself to everyone who misunderstands you. Some misunderstandings expose more about the speaker than the subject. The moment you stop trying to win every perception battle, you start winning the power game. When you should speak, never defend yourself does not mean never speak. It means never speak from weakness. Machiavelli was not passive. He was precise. He understood that there are moments when silence strengthens you, and moments when silence allows narratives to grow unchecked. The key difference is this: are you speaking to protect your ego, or are you speaking to protect your position? Emotional defense is reactive. Strategic response is calculated. When someone attacks your character privately, silence may expose their insecurity. But when someone spreads misinformation that affects your reputation publicly, a calm, controlled correction becomes necessary. Notice the word controlled. No emotion, no long explanations, no anger, just clarity. For example, instead of, "That's not true, let me explain everything," say, "That's inaccurate, here are the facts." Then stop. No debate, no escalation. Machiavelli understood that long justifications create weakness. Short, firm corrections create authority. Psychologically, brevity signals certainty. The more concise you are, the more people assume you stand on solid ground. The more you overtalk, the more unstable you appear. Strategic speech also requires timing. Respond too quickly, and you look triggered. Respond too late, and you lose narrative control. The disciplined individual pauses, evaluates impact, and then decides if intervention is necessary. Ask yourself 3 questions before speaking. 1. Does this accusation affect my long-term position? 2. Is this person seeking truth or reaction? 3. Will my response increase or decrease my authority? If the answer to the first is no, silence is often superior. If the accusation is emotional bait, silence starves it. If your authority is truly threatened, speak once clearly and without aggression. The powerful do not argue endlessly. They make statements. Machiavelli would remind you that reputation is currency. But reputation is protected through composure, not panic. Here is the deeper lesson. You are not required to correct every misunderstanding. You are required to maintain your center. When you master this, people feel your stability. And stability commands respect. Defense loses power. Strategic communication preserves it. The deepest power in never defend yourself is not silence. It is freedom. Most people defend themselves because they fear being misunderstood. They fear losing approval. They fear losing control of how others see them. Machiavelli understood something most never realize. If your stability depends on being understood, you are already controlled. The need to explain yourself constantly is a subtle form of dependence. It ties your emotional balance to the opinions of others. It makes you reactive, and reactive people are predictable. The moment you stop needing universal understanding, you gain psychological independence. Not everyone deserves your explanation. Not everyone qualifies for your energy. Not every accusation requires your correction. This is not arrogance. It is emotional sovereignty. When you know your values, your intentions, and your position, external noise loses its power to destabilize you. Modern psychology calls this internal validation. When your confidence comes from within rather than from public approval, you become difficult to manipulate. Criticism becomes information, not a threat. Machiavelli observed that powerful leaders accepted that they would be misunderstood by some. Trying to satisfy everyone weakens authority. Trying to clarify yourself to every critic exhausts focus. And focus is power. Here is the final shift. You do not need to win every narrative. You need to win your direction. The person who constantly defends lives in reaction. The person who chooses silence lives in intention. When you stop defending yourself emotionally, something changes. Your posture shifts. Your tone steadies. Your responses shorten. People begin to feel your composure. And composure commands respect more than arguments ever will. There will be moments when speaking is necessary. Speak then calmly and briefly. But let those moments be strategic, not emotional. Because the highest level of power is not dominance. It is an unshakable stability. If this teaching sharpened your awareness and strengthened your mindset, subscribe to this channel for more lessons in psychology, philosophy, and self-mastery. Master your reactions. Control your frame. And never surrender your power by defending what stands firm on its own.